what was going on there, but it was not working. It was not playing nice. But we're here now. I'm pretty sure this is like straight up and down, which is also part of the problem. I can't get it to go into like landscape mode. I don't know why. This is so weird. I've never had, yeah, it is. I'm looking at myself right now. It is definitely straight up and down. I apologize. I have no idea what's going on. I've never had this many issues before. I think it's because they changed it to, you can do like vertical lives now. So I feel like that's probably why it's like this. Because yeah, that's weird. I've never ever had that issue. Hello from Alaska. What time is it in Alaska? Are you guys behind us or ahead of us? I feel like you're behind us. You're living in the past, I'm living in the future. The future is bright. It looks good. Promise you. I have my glasses on. I'm sorry. I need them. I can't. 4:15. Oh yeah, you are 2 hours behind me. Neato. I'm supposed to be in here at 6. I was just telling the first 2 people who were in the waiting room. I've never had that many issues trying to get on a YouTube live before. It was not working. Not working. It's getting angry at me. And now I'm this direction. And I have actually zero clue how to make it so that it's landscape so I don't look like a little mini image on your screen. I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't know how to. Thumbs up or comment in the comments down below if you can hear me okay. Is that a thing right now? I'm not sure. Sherry from New Brunswick, hello. Matt from the Midwest US. That kind of is rhymey. It's a little bit rhymey. Zone 4A in Alaska. So I feel like we're the same zone as Alaska. I don't know how or why that works out, but it does. We have very similar temperatures because everyone that follows this channel from Alaska, anytime I ever hear them like talk about what their weather is like or whatever, I'm always like, oh yeah, that's very, very similar. We seem to have similar vibes. Montreal is here, and Manitoba. Volume. Oh, I just muted myself. Figure that out. I don't know how to. No. I hope I'm not too. What if I bring it closer? Maybe I'll bring you guys closer, and then it'll get better. Oh gosh. Oh, now you're crooked. Now you're crooked. Get it going on a ride. Okay, how do I get you to go sit back down? Hey. Okay. I don't know if it's gonna. I'm gonna talk really loud, and hopefully that fixes the situation. If it doesn't, if I'm still too quiet, let me know. I can step off camera and go get a mic, but it just might take more time to set up, and I don't know what that looks like. It's so weird because I used to do. Well, I did live streams. I've done live streams in the past. I used to do them like all the time, at least once every 3-ish months. I've never had issues with it. And this time it's like, no, I'm nothing but problems. So, who else is here? We have Martha from Alberta, Corin from Toronto. We have Lilith Bain from St. Paul, Minnesota. You have Vermont up in the house as well. We have Kat from Alberta. We have Carl. Hi, Carl. This is crazy. I always say this, or I say it and then I always edit it out. But when you guys comment, I actually, I recognize all of your guys' tags. So when you constantly are posting on my feeds or like in my comment section, because I pay so much attention to them, I actually know, I know you guys. So that's wild to me because I was actually at a CD Saturday, and there's a Rhonda she's on the Facebook group, but she's also usually on, I haven't seen her yet, but she's usually on here as well. And she walked up to me when I was at doing this talk, and she's like, you don't know who I am, but I know who you are. And I was like, well, who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm Rhonda, off of YouTube, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I know exactly who you are. So it's kind of funny. I love that. I love that. Put faces to the names, because some of you guys are very indescript profile pictures, which is totally fine. Who else do we have? Martha, Alberta. We have Gary from Surrey, BC. Surrey, BC has a really cool, you have a really cool, what is that? Bridge, like a suspension bridge. I drove over that. It's fun. Idaho, Holly from Idaho. We've got Gary from Seattle, Washington. We have Daphne from Newfoundland. I just watched your indoor fruit video. I grow indoors, so I wanted to see what others were suggesting. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people who grow indoors. The tropical fruits are difficult though, I'm not gonna lie. That's one where you need the space and you need the right lighting, and then you also need like the right humidity and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of work, and to be honest, it'd be cool to have, but I'm not sure if the payoff, like I'm not sure if you could get enough lemons, if you will, as an example, to warrant it. But if you want to do it just to brag, I mean, you definitely could do that, because everyone wants bragging rights when it comes to plants and cool stuff. So we have Colorado here, we have Southern Ontario, Peter, and Carl says, Ashley, here's where you get those Eskimo marigolds. Mackenzie Seeds supplies them, just order them. Oh, okay, perfect. I actually saw you like commenting when I was trying to get this to work, Carl. I saw your comment on one of my, like on the post for in the comment section, and I didn't get to it because I was frantically trying to figure out how to work this, because apparently I forgot. I don't know. I'm getting old, I guess. I'm not sure. We have sweet potatoes in the ground today. Felt good getting something in the ground. GB. Yeah, I know. How true is that? It's so funny. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've published it, but it was a video where I planted like beets and lettuce and carrots, and then I think some squash maybe of some sort in the front. And then my ADHD brain kicked in, and it was like, no. We're not gonna do these in ground beds, because I'm not gonna lie. So I did do the, for example, the no-till. You guys, if you've been on this channel and the Geek Crew for long enough, you'd know that I did those no-tills. So I did kind of brick, just so it didn't wash away, because it is kind of it's on a little bit of a slope. And then I put cardboard, and then I did put like your classic compost on top. I absolutely hated it. And that's not to say that it doesn't work and that it's not a wonderful thing for some people. No, not for my garden. And it's so weird, because I have that on the side of the house where I don't know if I showed you guys, but I like converted an entire area that is just pure cement, hard gravel. Like, it's totally useless. It had crushed red rock in it, to put it into perspective, that I couldn't get rid of. And I was digging and there's no way. There's no way I was gonna get all that crushed rock out. So I did a no-till on the side of the house. Works wonderfully. I appreciate it. It does really good there for whatever reason, or better than I would predict that space to be. The front yard, it just did not work. I hated it. And I think, well, so it had a ton of weeds. I had a lot of sow thistle. I had a lot of grass popping up as well. And it, like, and I did a thick layer of cardboard. It still was popping through, so I ripped it all out. It's gone. I put different beds in entirely. I put my beds in that I like. Just a classic raised bed with soil, triple mix soil, which is like compost and soil, like topsoil, mashed together in a beautiful harmony. And that's what I have in the front yard, because I also don't like gardening in potting soil. If I can get away without potting soil, I'm going for actual soil. So I'll show you guys what it looks like. But all those seeds I planted, they're somewhere in the mix, and they're probably not going to come up. They're probably at the bottom of the mix, if we're being totally honest, because I did not like just growing in that compost. I just took it all and I put it in the bottom of those beds, and then I put the soil on top, because no. Not for me, guys. But like I said, it's probably wonderful for a lot of people, not for me. It just didn't work. It didn't work for me. I don't know why. So that one's out. But I do still have the one over here. And then I have 2 in the front yard. I have 2 in the front yard. I'm not just giving up entirely. I am going to do 2 beds just to continue to, hopefully, fingers crossed, enjoy it as much as many of you do. So I will continue on that one. Matt says, hey, nothing but problems too. I mean, yeah, it's if you're on this channel, then I can guarantee you have problems. Who would want to hang out with me for that long? By the way, someone DM'd me on Instagram. They were like, hey, I'm not part of the geek crew, but I just want to know that I really appreciate your channel, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what do you mean? You're not a part of it. If you're DMing me, then I feel like you're a part of it, unless you're gonna somehow tell me off in the next few seconds. And they were like, no, I'm not joined. I'm not subscribed to your whatever, the join Patreon stuff. And I was like, oh no, that's not a thing. That's not what the geek crew is. The geek crew is the conglomerate that is the channel. So if you subscribe to the channel, and when I'm referencing geek crew, I'm referencing you guys. So just a heads up there, if there was any sort of misunderstanding. The join or the Patreon groups, it's just me. I do some videos on it. I do early sneak peeks, so usually get the videos a day or 2 ahead. You get the videos that I don't post. So the ones that I'm like, okay, these aren't good enough to go live, technically those are on there too. But if it's vital information, I'm making sure that it gets on the channel. But some of the stuff I'm just like, I don't know, it's not going to perform well, so I won't put it up. And then voting, that's the other thing too, is that you get to vote on thumbnails and titles and that sort of thing. So if that's what you're into, then please join. But if you're not, you're not missing out horribly, other than very direct access to me, which could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, depending on your mental health. If your mental health is low, then it's good. If you are sound of mind, it's not good. You probably know it's probably not a good idea. So, we have St. Albert, Alberta, Carolyn. We have Erin from St. Paul's. We have Kitty from NWPA, Northwest. What is that? Somewhere in the U.S., I would think. We have Montana from Montana. I love that. I love that. Your parents are so cool. If you move there just for the purpose of having the same name as where you're from, I give you props. If you were born there, I love your parents. They're hilarious. That's too good. Kelowna, we got Mar from Kelowna. I'm guessing you guys are so warm. We're still kind of cold. I've had my furnace running, and anyone from Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba could vouch for me on this. I've had the furnace, my heater, running inside of my greenhouse for literal 24 hours straight for the last week. Not pleasant. I'm not excited for the power bill. I'm gonna say that much. And not only to mention that, but I've had to put a ton of grow lights in there because it's dark and it's cloudy, it's miserable out, so there's no light. And so things are starting to bend and get leggy, and I just don't have time for it. It just results in poor plant quality. So I put grow lights in. I put them underneath each stack. I did T5s on each layer, each stack. They're not stacked on top of each other. Each layer I put them in, and then I did put LEDs on the top, but so when I did the video on greenhouses, I put more, 2 more on top of that. Not good. Not good. It's so cloudy. So yeah. Vancouver Island. I like it there too. I've been there. Hi from Ottawa. Amy, I've never been to Ottawa. That's a place I haven't been. Prairie Prepping. Jenna from Alberta. Hello. Darlene from Haliburton, Ontario. I love that. That's quite the name. I didn't even know there's a Haliburton. Isn't that a company? I'm probably just making myself sound like an idiot. I feel like it's a company though. Port Manbridge, Highway 1, Trans-Canada, Gary. We've got Subway from Toronto. We've got Niagara Falls, Flora from Niagara Falls. Holy macaronis. We've got Shelburne, Ontario here. Susan says, Shelburne, Ontario, and I love that we're in the same zone. Yeah, I feel like I'm one of the few like cold climate gardeners. And it's so funny because I only get like literal like 90 days. Like it's like 98 days that's frost free where I am. So the fact that I can even come up with the content I can and keep you guys entertained for 12 months of the year is honest to goodness shocking. But it's because of you guys. So you guys are the reasons why I can do that, because you ask so many questions and you give me so many ideas. Like you're just inspo for me, because you'll be like, oh, what about this, or oh, what about, like someone DM'd me the other day on Instagram or Facebook and they're like, can you do a discussion on soil redox? And I'm like, you're such a geek, like I love it, I love it. So I gotta do an actual video on that, but it's gonna be geeky. But yeah, it's fun. I love that. You guys are awesome. You keep me inspired despite the fact that I only have to garden for 90 days. Literal 90 days without frost. It's so sad. So sad. We got Wes from Vancouver. Brendan says, we're still at 5 degrees Celsius at night. Daytime highs are in the teens. And they're from Laurentians, Quebec. Next week, our nighttime temps are going up. So the lowest our nighttime temps get next week is, I think, -9. And there's even one night that's like -3 or -9, +9. And then I think the highest is like actually a +13, which is shocking because my rule is that it has to stay above 10 degrees Celsius for 5 days straight for me to even consider at night, for me to even consider putting my tomatoes or my peppers outdoors and moving them out of like a nice cozy greenhouse. So that's shocking. But with that being said, because it's getting so warm so quick at night, I am going to do my cozy coats. I'm going to do like 3 or 4 tomatoes in there. And I want to show you guys something because I've done cozy coats for 2 years now. Geek crew members who's been here for a while are going to correct me on that, but I feel like it's been 2 years I've been doing the cozy coats, and I'm not going to lie, it doesn't make a difference. So I plant those outside and then I keep my ones in the greenhouse, and you'd think the fact that those tomatoes have more access to water and they're, hardened off sooner and they have like the cozy coat around it doesn't make a difference. They, honest to goodness, when you transplant your other ones outside, they're bigger, generally bigger than what was in the cozy coat. First off. Second off, they both catch up at the same time. They both harden off at the same speed. They both mature at the same speed. So I don't know. I think that honestly does have something to do with the soil temperature. But I'm gonna try it again because this is gonna be the 3rd year. If it does it again this year, I'm convinced. I'm convinced that's the problem. And that's actually the video I did on like tomatoes, and I was like the tomato planting death, and people were like wild over that. So what I was referencing, I feel like I did a bad job on that video actually explaining myself, which is fine. That's what YouTube's for. I'm not always right. But so the root, like the planting of the plant deep, what I was referencing is I was referencing just potting up into pots with potting soil. Like that was all I was referencing, like bumping them up. I was not referencing putting them in the garden, and people just took it like, you're putting them in the garden the wrong way. I'm like, no, that's not what so I was like reading the comments and I'm like, oh no, I did not stress this enough. So when I said that, I was saying bumping up. So I was taking a little container and then putting it into a larger size container. That was the time when I wanted to capture as much actual root. I wanted to, mature and foster the health of the taproot for the most part, rather than the fibrous roots that come off the adventitious, I always say the adventitious because it's easier for me to say. I have like a lung issues. So if it comes with big words or anything and I kind of like gravel, my voice gets gravelly, it's because I ran out of air, literally. I have, an autoimmune issue. So, so that's what I meant by bumping up. When you plant them outside though, I did reference when you plant them outside, making sure that your tomatoes get an earlier harvest or an appropriate harvest time. That actually has to do with soil temperature, and that is a fact. So soil temperature it does really drive your harvest, how quickly things mature and all that fun stuff. So if you're in a really warm climate, it's in your interest to sink them much lower, because then your roots will stay cool, and then you won't get, you know, an expedited kind of leggy, gross, crispy looking plant or tomato plant. You get one that's a little bit healthier. So if you sink them down a little bit lower, and then the other side of that, of course, is going to be potting them up a little bit higher. If you're like in a heavy clay and it's cooler, then that's when you would want to, you know, bring them up in the soil profile. But I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I think in my head, my idea is to actually use I'm going to use like a pocket thermometer. It's not even a soil temp thermometer. I'm going to try this against my soil temp thermometer, see how it turns out. Because the pocket thermometers are like half the price of an actual soil temp thermometer. And I'm going to show you guys like how you put it in the profile and how you would determine what depth to put it at based on your soil. So sounds very confusing, but I promise I'll break it down for you guys. Because honest to goodness, you could be in a yard with sand, and then you could be, or sandier soil, and then you could be in a yard with clay soil, and they could be on the same block, totally different temperatures. And then you put like mulch or no mulch on top of that, and again, totally different soil temperatures. And again, that will affect the maturity of everything that you grow. So I'm going to do a video on that. I think it's going to help you guys out a lot, the cold climate people. And I mean, there's folks on this channel from like Texas, Arizona. There's actually quite a few from South America, Philippines, you name it. And the same applies. You just want to hit the right temperature range, right? Based on like where you're growing. So right across the lake. Kitty's right across the lake from Ontario. Oh yeah, or from the lakes, because I asked you where that was from. Susan's from Shelburne. Scott is from Zone 0. Brian's Garden, thank you. Wow, that's so kind. Thanks for being you. Oh, that's the cutest. And I love how it's like an adorable little pear on top of it. That's so kind. You guys do not need to do that. I don't do this for money at all. I have a full-time job. On top of all of this. That's my meat and potatoes. I do this honest to goodness for fun. Tomorrow I'm going to have my video on, it's emotional. So if you guys want to cry, tomorrow's the day to cry. Tomorrow's going to be like my thank you for 100,000 subscribers moment. And I go through some stuff in there, like the whole journey for YouTube, how I got to where I am and why you should start a YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff about gardening. And yeah, and I actually explained at one point how I started this solely for escaping, like mentally. And it was like a reprieve for me, I guess you could say. Because I'm a very like artsy fartsy person, despite, you know, the science side and stuff. I love music and art and all that sort of stuff. So I normally during COVID, like pre-COVID, I would go in and I would played in a jazz band, I played in a concert band, I was in a choir, like 2 choirs, you name it. So I was always doing artsy fartsy stuff, and it helped me decompress, honest to goodness, from just life in general, which was incredibly stressful at the time. And then all of it got shut down because those are all breathing hobbies. And so it all got shut down, and I literally just went to YouTube because I was like, oh, I need to do something. Like, I need to edit, I need to have fun, I need to like artsy fartsy myself. I can't just play on the piano for myself, or my husband, who probably be like, shut up, please, for the love of goodness. But yeah, that's what this is, honest to goodness, where it all started. So, and I still just treat it as like a hobby. That's why I don't have like courses or anything like that, or like products. I don't know what those are. I don't know how to make those. You all crazy. Okay. Hi all from Florida. Aw, where I kill half my plants, or the chickens do. Florida's wonderful though. You got lots of crocodiles. Or alligators? Alligators. I feel like it's alligators. I've been to Orlando, Florida, and you can guess exactly why I was in Orlando, Florida. Very self-explanatory. And I fried to a crisp. Mexico too. Whenever I go anywhere tropical, I freeze. I burn. And yeah, it's good. California I burnt, Arizona I burnt. It's crazy. It's inevitable. I think the sun is different. I'm going to go with the sun is different. In the US, it's much more intense. And that's why I got singed within an inch of my life. So, we have Tracy from Sudbury, Ontario. Your videos are awesome. Thanks. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. Wes Carter, not to brag, but tomorrow's overnight is 10 degrees Celsius. La-di-da, Wes. I'm moving to your place. I'm just kidding. Linda is from St. Thomas, Ontario. Worked the flower garden all day, minus 22 degrees. What zone are you in? Are you just like in a freaking nature moment right now? Or do you actually, honest to goodness, normally minus 22 degrees on May 7th? Because if you are, I think you have me beat. And it was snowing last week, so you're winning. Mara, M-A-R-1-A, says, can spring happen already, please? Right? Nicole's Garden from Nova Scotia. She's got a YouTube channel. Go check her out. Mara says, I'm your inspo for me. We have April from Renfrew, Ontario. Never heard of that place. Love your channel. I'm a container gardener. Your advice is so helpful. Yeah, I mean, it would apply. A lot of what I do would apply to container people as well. Tracy says, building a greenhouse tomorrow. You inspired me to extend my season. Good job. That's awesome. Yeah, the greenhouse will definitely help with that. The other thing is too, like the reason why I use a greenhouse actually has more to do with the fact that it usually, normal years, it saves me money because I don't have to run my grow lights. So if I have to run racks of grow lights, I mean, that's expensive. If I set up a greenhouse outside and put a fan in it, and like I don't have to run lights, I don't have to run heaters, it saves me money. Normally this time of year, I don't have to run a heater and I'm off to the races. I'm paying zero money now from here on out. And this year, not so much. So what I would like, and someone commented this on the Facebook group, I and Geek members, if you have an answer to this, please DM me. I need to know what solar panel I need to run my greenhouse, because the greenhouse obviously is in sun, and it would be so cool to be able to do some sort of a setup where I could power my lights, or one or two of my lights, and then my heater. I think that would be so neat, because if we could do that, if we could figure out what that is and then do a video on it, I think it would help a lot of people, because then I'd run it until I couldn't run it anymore. I'd run it nonstop. I'd never stop growing in a greenhouse, because it does make a difference. So, Dunas, Winnipeg here. The symbol, I love that. Scott Miller, 2B7B or not 2B7B. Crystal, Florida. I already said AT's here. Yours is even less if you get hit by a hurricane. I forgot you were in a tropical place. You watch so many of my videos, I just automatically assume that you're from Saskatchewan, like, or from Canada anyways. But no, you're definitely American. I always forget that. Jenny says, I'm a beginner gardener in zone 4B, 5A, and it's still too short and cold in my opinion. I wish I was in 7 or 8. You know, Jenny, the funny thing about this is that people who were in hot climates wish they were in cold climates, and people who are in cold climates wish they're in hot climates. And it's so weird, because you can grow things in our climate that people cannot grow in like California, Texas, Florida. And I hear about it all the time. And then the opposite is true for us. Like, we can't grow things that they grow down there. So it really depends. It really truly depends on what you're trying to achieve in your garden, what you want to grow, that sort of thing. That makes a difference. And one way to make yourself feel a little bit better about it is to find stuff that's meant for your zone. So that's why my rule is only to do like 3 to 4, maybe 5 exotics that are labor intensive, because then it just doesn't demotivate you. It doesn't destroy the vibe of gardening, if you will, which this is kind of funny. It's not funny. You guys are going to judge me so hard. You're like, I follow this. I was going to swear, but anyways. So I have to do cuttings. Yes, this is a plant. I have to do cuttings because gardening happens, and then Ashley forgot to water her house plants. So I've got some bulbs AF plants. So I'm going to propagate and I'm going to put these all in the greenhouse because it's going to make me feel better about myself because they are not doing good. They're not doing good. In my defense, I wasn't watering because I just couldn't handle it. It was a hard year. This is my first year gardening without my mom and my grandma, which is crazy because that's the only people other than you guys that I can actually talk to about gardening and be like, call them up and be like, oh, so what'd you start today? What'd you do? Where's this at? Can I come over? Like, that's gone for me. And it's like the first year I've not had that, and it just breaks my heart. So I was struggling a lot. So I was like, you know what? We got to pick and choose, woman, and we're going to pick garden plants and seed starting and greenhouse stuff over your houseplants. And now my houseplants are dying. So that's wonderful. And they're some of them more expensive. So life choices. I just gotta put Earth One sensor and everything, and then it'll just alert me over and over again. Paradise, Georgia, Scott Miller, Blue Line Wall, hi from Oliver, BC. Plants are in the greenhouse now. Water restrictions. What? Are you actually serious? Water restrictions already started. Maybe I should do a video on that. I should maybe do a video on how to reduce how much water you need to use or how to achieve getting water, because you said this now, and then I had at work, there was a tech, he was driving around, he said, yeah, every time you drive by says fire ban in effect. I was like, oh my goodness, like that means it's really dry here as well. And then who else? Oh, Lee Valley Tools. They had emailed me and they said, hey, can you do a live stream? We're going to do it at the beginning of June on basically how to garden in a drought, how to keep plants happy and healthy in a drought. And I was like, wow, that was like within this last 3 days. Yeah. So I'm shocked. I'm convinced that people are really worried about this. We never get them here in Saskatoon. I say that and then watch, we're going to get hit with one, but I feel like we don't get them in Saskatoon. I always thought it was an American thing, but then I was talking to people in southern Saskatchewan that did say that they get water bans, so that's just crazy. So Tracy says, I want to grow a decent watermelon. I don't know 100% where you are, Tracy, but get something meant for your zone. So get something that has enough days in it to grow. I have all my seeds in front of me too, because I was like, I'm going to sort through seeds. And then I didn't. Surprise. So this one says sugar babies. It says 6 to 8. Yeah, you know, I think this brand, this is Mr. Fothergill's, and you do not have days to harvest, which is so weird. It has weeks, not days. I want days. I guess you can go weeks, just do 7 times 10 is 70, and that's how many days you need. So basically what you want to do is you want to take the number of days you have to grow and then be conservative about what you decide to plant. So these sugar babies actually are pretty good for our zone. So mine is 90, it's like between 98 and I want to say it's like 111 frost-free days. And so anything that falls kind of in the days to harvest realm of the 70 or less, I'm comfortable either starting in a greenhouse a little bit prior and then moving outside. And I, for the most part, will get a harvest off of them, but you gotta get the right ones. You gotta get the right seeds, and it takes a while. You gotta really search for these. Like this is Early Champ, and it says Early Champ melons, and it's a type of cantaloupe. It's not the cantaloupe. It's powdery mildew resistant, which I'm kind of interested to try, and fusarium wilt resistant as well. And it's 72 days, so it's kind of the same wheelhouse as those sugar babies. So that one's gonna try it. Yeah, see this one too. The petite yellows are the 70 to 90s. And of course, these are all gonna be small. They're all gonna be small. The only way you could ever do like a Texas watermelon in Saskatchewan or something like that, or any cold climate, would be to put it in a greenhouse and have it very mobile. You need to be able to like move it around, because yeah, it's the night times. The cold night temps is what just it destroys growth. It shuts it down almost. It puts the plant into just almost like a suppressive moment. It just doesn't work out. So Elsie Black from Toronto, Justin here. Amazing. Oh, goodness. Your amazing intellect explains for all of us is just what we need to become better gardeners for sure. You make sure you don't just put everything on, like, don't put everything on making it sound sob story. I'm saying, like, don't, and this goes for anybody, I don't care who it is. If I say something, I highly encourage you to find the opposite of what I said. And that goes for anyone. If someone says this, like Kevin from Epic Gardening, if he says this, go find the opposite of that. And then find where the answer is in the middle. Because I was talking to someone today over on Instagram, and she sent me a video, it was a video on potatoes and growing potatoes. And the person had said that they don't chit their potatoes, but they put their potatoes in a sprouting. It looks like it's relatively new research. It looked like one study maybe out of China. And they do sprouting with their potatoes, which is different than chitting because it's actually physically in soil, and then it makes a stem and everything else. So it's interesting though, because in that she's like, well, this is different than what you said. And I was like, yeah, that is the thing though, with plants and soil and ecosystems and all that sort of stuff. Anything that has so many variables, and this is where the science for plants and soil just gets really wacky. So every time there's a lot of elements you can't control, so wind, moisture, ambient humidity, temperatures, soil colors, soil covers, soil textures, when you have that many variables, there are so many different things that could work. There's so many different methods that would yield you good results. And so what you want to do is you want to say to yourself, okay, I'm having issues with this. This seems like this is the answer. I'm going to try half of what I grow this way, and then I'm going to try half of what I grow the way I normally do it. And that will ensure you still obviously get a harvest, but you're going to try to maybe get better yields with the new methods you're trying. So that is really important. And honest to goodness, that's what I do. So when I decide that I'm doing something, and I'll read a paper and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to try that. So then I'll go and try it, and then I'll be like, okay, that worked for me. And then sometimes I'll read the paper and I'll go and do it in the garden. I'm like, oh, that didn't work for me at all, but it might work for somebody else. So keep that in mind. The answer is always going to be somewhere in the middle. Don't get dogmatic. Like, don't get dogmatic about gardening. Don't just like go all in on one method or all in on one idea. And I encourage that. Like, don't put everything in me. So I'm gonna leave that where that is. So yeah. Anyways, just don't put too much stakes in just one person. It's not good. You don't want to do that. Don't be dogmatic. That's boring. It's so negative. Okay, Dream Lover Mimi, another one that's always on the channel. How much mineral soil should potted plants have mixed with potting mix? That is a loaded question, only because it highly depends on what you're doing. So are you talking hanging baskets that are porous? Are you talking terracotta? Are you talking glazed terracotta? Are you talking something that's in like really intense sun? Are you talking that something's in shade? All those things factor in. I'm gonna do a video on, because I did that one on potting soil, and there was a lot of questions about that because of the different types of potting soils you can use. So what I did is I went over to the Early's Farm Garden here, and they have like all the different kinds. So I got my regular sunshine mix number 4, and then I actually got the mix number 7, which is the one with the polymer in it, I think, or some sort of gel. I want to say it's some sort of gel. And the purpose for that one is to retain moisture in high heat, high temp scenarios. So the front of this, I always complain about it because it's ridiculously hot and just useless. I'm going to try it out there because I have a hard time keeping my plants watered in that front space. And that's regardless of me mulching. That's regardless of me how I treat the plants. I try to, like, how many I plant in there. I've tried planting less plants. It just is not happening. So I'm going to pull all my potting soil out. I'm going to do a video on how to reuse potting soil, how I revive this potting soil that I have in these containers. And then I'm going to fill them up with that polymer type potting soil just to show you like how big of a difference is. The only thing here though is that number 7, you cannot grow vegetables in it. You cannot grow anything edible. So no herbs, no nothing. It can only be show flowers, and that's very important to remember. And you always, whenever you get into odd soils and you're starting to go for professional mixes and stuff, you want to read it. You really want to make sure that what you're doing is meant for the application you're going with. So endo, proper way to revitalize and repot overwintered Scotch bonnets. Oh, that's oddly specific. Okay. How dead are we talking? Like, where are we at with these? Have we started them? Do we have leaves? Do we have new roots? Are they potted up at all? That would be my first questions there. Tracy says, fungus gnats are taking over my seedlings. Try the string bean trick. It's free. Might work. There's a million ways to do fungus gnats, and none of them seem to be perfect, unfortunately. Scott Miller, know someone that's growing meadows from the ground to tip black in ground. I don't know what you said, Scott. I'm sorry. Heather, having too much powdery mildew here in Hamilton. I do love your videos. Powdery mildew is an insidious little creature, and it overwinters. It overwinters in everywhere. Everywhere it overwinters, unfortunately. So that one, I have a video on it. Go check it out. But there's a number of different ways to control that. Everything ranging from whey powder to sulfurs, you name it. If it's bad enough, everything comes off. Like all your debris, all your mulch, all the infected, everything gets pulled off. Garbage it. Be nice. Don't put it in your city compost. And then start from scratch in that space. At least then you're going to just reduce the load, hopefully. And it should put you in a little bit better place. The only other way to really counteract this is to crop rotate and put stuff in its place that doesn't attract powdery mildew, which is easier said than done, because I can admit that there's not many out there that would make that. Mandy says, I'm a houseplant girl, but slowly getting the courage to try some things outside. Let's convince her. Let's convince Mandy. Mandy needs to garden. Mandy, I'm a houseplant person, so I'm just a plant person in general. I just don't do houseplant content very often. It doesn't do very well on my channel, and I think it's because I'm not known for that. And then you also add the fact that my channel's gardening in Canada, which was a horrible life choice. I realize that. People tell me that all the time. They're like, you probably shouldn't have done that, because now people won't click on your channel because they think it's about cold climate gardening, and it's not. I'm like, yeah, it was not great, but I'm not going to change it. But yeah, that's I think why I don't get a lot of houseplant content. There's actually everything plants. I'm going to drive traffic his way. He's a houseplant guy. He's in Regina, Saskatchewan, and he's almost at 100,000 subscribers. So go follow him, make him feel good. Be like, Ashley sent me. So everything plants, Jeff. He's a good dude, and he's into the science too. He likes lots of experiments and that sort of thing. So which is very, very cool. Flora says there's an old wives' tale about hilling tomatoes after a few weeks. If there's not much uptake of minerals by adventitious roots, can you think of why the anecdotal accounts say it works? Okay, let me try this. I gotta just focus here for a second. Hill tomatoes after a few weeks if there's not much nutrient uptake, minerals. Okay, Flora. So it's not so much that this is another where I screwed up. So it's not that the adventitious roots don't uptake minerals and water. They do. Once they transition fully into like a fibrous root system, they're the same thing. They don't dig for water as well, and they don't dig for nutrients as well. That's just a fact, because they're a fibrous root system. They're not attached to the taproot. So once things do take off and everything's hilled and the stress is reduced off of that, and if the soil temperature is correct, for the roots on the tomato, yeah, you're good. They probably do take off. And if those people who are hilling them are in like a really hot location, I wouldn't argue them. I would say, yeah, they're probably right. That's exactly what's happening to them, because that's like hot soil. It's horrible. It's just as bad as cold soil, to be honest. Like hot soil is just as bad as cool soil. And I think you guys would be shocked. I didn't know this because obviously I work and live and play in soil that's in a colder climate. So that soil tends to be cooler here. There is some soil temps that people have sent me, like actual thermometers in their soil that they've DM'd me on Instagram, email, Facebook, and I'm just like, what? It's insane. How does anything survive? Some soils get mega, mega, mega warm. And if you are in that area that gets mega, mega warm soil, pile on the mulch, pile it on. Nice, deep, thick layers, seriously. Makes a big difference. Dawn! Dawn is in the house. Dawn is the one that I was, that video from, that was Monday, right guys? No, Sunday, jeez. Sunday was when I posted that one. I was talking about Dawn. Dawn probably doesn't even know what I was talking about. He probably hasn't watched it yet. But, yeah. Or no, you did. You commented on the Facebook channel. Yeah, Dawn. Kittens. Kittens. Also, a gentleman out of Nova Scotia who, let me tell you, he does his own experiments in his house. It's crazy. Dawn, what have you done? You've done sunflowers. You've got me convinced on straw flowers and bachelor buttons, I think is the two that you got me convinced I need to do. So those ones I am growing this way. So yeah, that's interesting. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so you guys are having your own little conversation, which I love, but I'm not a part of it because I can't keep up with it. But that's okay. I'll read it back. I'll read over them later. It's okay if you want to leave me out. It's fine. Sometimes you guys just take off in the comment section on your own, and then I just back out of those. Oh my goodness, there's so many. I'm shocked by how many of you there are here. Who else? Who drifter? Corn seems to be only work in large patches because of the pollination thing. Yeah, that's actually true. Most people that I talk to that do corn, and I gotta convince my brother, he's my baby brother, but he's ginormous compared to me. I gotta convince him to do a video with me because he's gardening for the first time ever, and I think it's the cutest thing ever because he's 28 or whatever, and he's never gardened, but I think it's because my grandma's passed away and my mom's passed away, and he's not getting as many, obviously, plants off of that situation. And I am growing him plants. I told him that I'm growing you plants. He's like, no, you got so much root, like you got so much you gotta grow and blah blah blah. So he's starting to garden, and I want to do like a sit down interview with my brother and be like, what were you thinking when you did this? Because just out of curiosity, I want to know what a new gardener thinks when they're looking at like their landscape and how to choose soil and all that sort of stuff. Because he was just going to go buy topsoil, and that's when I had to intervene. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with you doing your own thing and like your own research, but please do not get topsoil. You got to go for a triple mix blend because you will not want topsoil in a raised bed. It will be your nightmare for the rest of your life. So no, that one's too funny. But I want to get him on camera because it would be hilarious. He'd be so awkward too. He'd be so awkward. Most indoor plants are understory plants. They are. There's a lot of understory plants up in here. Yep. Except for that fiddly fig. I don't even think you guys realize how big that fig is. Everyone's like, how big is the fig? The fig is out of control. I need to like maybe cut it down. And it's kind of funny. So that looks like it's not that much. It's actually huge because it comes out like 5 feet. Life choices. And I got it when it was like, well, it was like 4 leaves. 4 leaves on a stick. This one here, actually, I had to take out of my office because it was hitting the roof and it was done. Like it was way too big. And that one I got from Safeway and it was like that big. Yep. Don't ask me how. And he's not that old. He's only like maybe 5 years old. And then I have another one. It's Fiscus, I'm not good with these ones. The variegated, like the pinky, whitey, gray ones. I have that one at work now to replace this guy. And I got it, same thing, like a little tiny one from Safeway. And it's already decided that it's bigger than the window. And my coworker was like, are you serious? Like, what are you gonna do with all these trees? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I gotta move, I guess. I gotta move for my plants. That's what I gotta do. Gotta move for my plants and move to somewhere they can live a happy life outside. And so I was in LA this fall, and this tree behind me was like full, like a big, ginormous, decade old rubber tree. And I just stared at it. I was like, this is so cool. It was, my husband was gonna kill me. I was walking around like everywhere we went in the US, I was just staring at plants. That's literally all I was doing. Like Arizona, I was staring at plants. I was Grand Canyon, I was more obsessed with the plants. And we're in like Universal Studios and Disneyland, and I'm like looking at the plants. It's horrible. You spend $500 to go to a theme park, and here I am looking at the succulent arrangements. Ugh. Life. You should do 100% series where you field questions from your new brother. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I gotta do. Actually, this is a good time to tell you guys. So over on the Facebook page, we have a thread. If you scroll down and find it, if you can't find it, let me know. I'll send you the link. I have people putting their photos of their soil in there, and then I'm gonna grab out of that comment section, and I'm gonna do all your guys' soil, like tell you kind of like what's up with it, how to fix it, that sort of thing. I might group some of you together because some of you might have very similar ones, but I'll pop your photos up and I'll be like, this is this person, this is this person. I won't put names up because I understand that that's not fun, but put something in the photo so that you recognize that it's your soil. Or say, you're free to use my name. Because if you say, I'm free to use your name, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to abuse it. So, water usage would be great. Blue line is out of the house. Gotta go. See ya. My garden is mostly on my roof. Raised beds and grow bags. Large patches, 2 foot by 40 foot are not an option. Just need to harvest 2 to 30 ears, and I will be just happy for me. You could do, I've done corn in containers. I did 4 containers. So I think it was 36-inch diameter, and I did 4 of them, and then I put 4 plants per container. It worked. I didn't get like amazing harvests, and the soil after, I had to like rip it apart and really, oh goodness, I had to put it in my kiddie pool and really like pull it apart into a million little different sections, because yeah, Sean's like, again, guys, like it. 133 people watching, only 51 likes. It's okay. That always happens. They're here for just the hangout. They're not here to like. That's fair. I mean, I would want to hang out with me too. It's so weird. I can't see you. Like, I can see. This might not end the way I wanted to. Okay, we're good. Oh yeah, don't touch. Once you've grown all the plants, grow a YouTube channel. Oh goodness, I hate the YouTube. It's a place. It's hard sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. You guys make it awesome. But holy Landa, sometimes I'm just like, why do I do this? This is crazy. Especially when you like put a video out, you put like hours, days into it, and then it just flops, and you're like, that's good. Good soup. Scott, I actually never eat sunflower seeds. Gotta grow, gang. Nice. Thumbs up, man. You will see. Oh, that's cute. Okay, who else is in here? We've got where it's like had like a full-blown conversation, and I had to like skip through it because I'm just like I'm getting sidetracked by it. My eyes are like, My baby brother's Nicole's like, my baby brother's 6'6". He lives near Cold Lake, Alberta. Yeah, my baby brother's like 6'6" too. It's like 6'6" and just massive. He was he used to play football, like for the Hilltops, which is like not super professional, but still takes a bit to get there. He's big. He's a big guy. Big guy. We look nothing alike, actually. I have 2 videos planned with my siblings. The first one, it took 3 years to convince them to do this, but the first one is going to be my baby brother, who's not a baby, how to garden. And then the other one is going to be my sister has the coolest house ever. So she just bought her first house, and it is mid-century modern, which is like a whole vibe, and she was set on it. Like, that is her thing. And it has the coolest little like 3-step garden. It has a garden inside of it. It was built like that in the 60s or whenever those houses were built. And it has grow lights off of Wi-Fi. I had Rogers. No, I had Shaw. And then Rogers bought Shaw, and now I hate my internet. It's horrible. I had Nostal, they're useless. And then I had Shaw, and I was like, oh, this is so good. And now I hate it. Rogers took over, and I'm just over it now at this point. Oh, I just saw my face trying to turn that on. I feel bad for you. That was a moment. Scott Miller, corn boil, mushrooms plus corn. I had that, actually. What is it? Americans do it. The Americans are going to know what I'm talking about. You put, like, you have a big pot, and then you put, like, crawfish and corn and potatoes, I think, in it. And it's, like, kind of spicy. I don't know what it's called, but I had that. It was really cool. We did, like, a big table, like a buffet-style table. And then they put, like, paper down. And then they run out, and they, like, bang the bottom of the pot. Anyways, and then they, like, dump all this food just all over the table. It's really cool. Really, really cool. I feel like it's something boil. So, George, oh my God, it's marble garlic. What? I feel like that's part of the secret conversation that the Geek Crew's having without me, which is fun. It's fun. I can get behind that. Dawn says, why do indoor veggies have less light than, say, a marigold or veg? Why do indoor plants need less light than a marigold or veggie? Oh, yeah. So these plants, a lot of the time, they're from a forest. Like, they're not meant to be in the bulk prairies. So that is kind of why they do really well with less light, because it's normal. It's very normal for them to compete. They're not perfect in low light. Like, they have low, actually, this is a really good example of it. So I was looking at this before the live stream started. I got distracted by this one plant. But yeah, that's the only reason it does it. A lot of understory plant, a lot of plants that are normally competing, like this one behind me, in a forest setting. So there's that. There's a gentleman, he's getting his PhD. I'm going to call him my friend because I feel like we're friends. We talk all the time. He's in the UK, botanical something on Instagram. Anyways, me and him were talking about plants. He's a botany, PhD in botany. And anyways, we make fun of plant hacks that are posted on Instagram in private. We're not going to make fun of people to their face, but we were sharing that with each other, and we were talking about plants and lighting and that sort of thing. He's going to the forest in, I think it's Costa Rica. He got funding for it for his PhD, and he's going to go and he's going to try to find some new species, which is way cool. Okay, so this is a good example of it, Dawn. This, if you look on this plant, so you see the inner nodes are like this size, and then all of a sudden you're going to notice they start getting smaller. So what happened here is this is the leading edge, the apical meristem, if you will. And this, I can't show it to you because it's on the floor, but it went on a moss pole. So this was at the top of the moss pole. You can kind of see it's formed into that shape because plant abuse. This hung down, and this is on the floor. So this was a really tight inner node section, and then things got really leggy. So I'm not going to say that they do well without light, but what I will say is that they can do better with highlight. They can do better with, they can survive, don't get me wrong, they can survive. They just don't do nearly as well. So, but yeah, that's what they could do. Could have, and it was beautiful when I had it. Because like every single one of these notes had at least one leaf coming off of it, or one petiole, which turned into a leaf. But I've got some action. Things are coming back. So I just gotta deal with this separately. If you didn't see that section of the video, I was basically saying how I killed all my houseplants because I just ignored them for months on end. So, okay, I think I'm gonna wrap up here, guys. We're at 60. What are we? 60 minutes? 60, 43. You guys have to comment down below, or maybe not this, but Cajun boil, Romeo, sorry, ADHD. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Is gardening good? Okay, I'm getting distracted. Comment down below if you guys like live streams and if you want me to do live streams more often. If you do, we can maybe set up like a time, a day, a time. Once a month is probably the most I could do. But like Tuesday evenings, for example, I have Paige actually secretly, one of my best friends, secretly hanging out in the comment section, and she's moderating them. And Paige is doing a wonderful job. Thank you, Paige. Everyone, thank you, Paige. So yeah, she'll moderate. I'm sure I could bribe her into you doing that. I mean, I am your bridesmaid in June. So I'm just saying, I'm your bridesmaid in June, and this will just be the payment for me being your bridesmaid. Does that count? Anyways, monthly's great. Okay, let's do, what is this, the first Tuesday? Let's do the first Tuesday. I will completely forget to mention it in any of my videos, but let's do the next Tuesday. I'm gonna set an alarm on my phone or on my watch to go off on my agenda, and then that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna repeat this every month, and then I'll remember. Okay, monthly be so nice. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, folks. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, you guys. I don't want to say too much on here because I'm a baby. I'm an absolute child, and I will cry so easily. And so I don't want to say too much, but I have the video coming out tomorrow. It's pretty open. It's like an open sore type video. So I'm being very vulnerable in it, if you will. But it's because you guys, you deserve it. And like I said in that video, and I will say it again, I said it in my community post, I would not be here without you. The only reason I'm here is because of you guys. They could literally take YouTube and they could say, oh, no, it's not monetized anymore. I can't make money off of it. It's gone. And I'd be like, oh, well, that sucks, but whatever. And I'd still create content. If they said, listen, we're shutting down and you're going to lose all your subscribers, but we'll pay you out for it, I'd have a mental breakdown, honestly, because you guys make this channel. Like, this community we have is so, I don't think you guys realize it, but it's so unique because it's so positive, it's so happy, and that's rare. Like, usually comment sections are very competitive and mean, and even the Facebook group, you guys are always so kind and nice in that as well. Yeah, you guys, round of applause to yourselves, because you made this. You made this even a thing that's possible. Like, I obviously maybe set the tone a little bit because I'm front and center, but you guys also set the tone in the comment section, because I've never ever seen any of you be like, oh no, you're wrong. That's wrong, factually wrong. You guys are always like, oh yeah, you could try that, or you could try this because this is what works here. And like, you don't understand. You have no idea how valuable that is. Not just for me to understand what situations you guys are in and what I need to teach you, because I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't realize they were struggling with that. For me, but also for other people who are new to the Geek family. And there's quite a few new Geek members lately, obviously. And they've reached out. There's several of them have reached out to me on Instagram, Facebook. And by the way, if you reach out to me, I answer everything. Eventually, I will get to you. It's just a matter of time. Sometimes I'll just do like voice. So I'll give you like a voice memo, and that shocks some people. They're like, what? Why is Ashley's voice on my phone? Just because it's easier than typing everything out. But quite a few reached out to me and they're like, I don't think you realize how positive and awesome this group is. Like it's made gardening fun for me. I've decided to revisit gardening and everything. So I mean, you guys, you guys did it. You made it what it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Wouldn't happen without you guys. Never in a million years could it happen with just me. You guys set the tone just as much as I do, and all these names. I mean, all of them. I recognize all of them. You guys comment on my videos all the time, and I know all of you. So I might not know your face, but I sure as heck know your usernames. And if you came up to me on a CD Saturday like Rhonda did, she never did show up, and you said, you don't know me, but I know you, and you said your username, I'd be like, oh no, I know you. I know you. I know you. I promise I know you. So, that's funny. Oh, she was like, hello from Toronto. I found this by chance. That's awesome. That's awesome. Mosquito bites or water. Yeah. Kelshith, Celsith. That person's right. Those mosquito dunks do work. They do, they do, they do. They're organic too. Sherry says, thank you for your videos. Thank you for watching, Sherry. Oh, Alligator's like, just saw you live while making dinner. Perfect. Okay, let's do first Tuesday of the month, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So whatever time that is for you, to put that in perspective, if you want to put it on the calendars right now, I'm an hour and 20 minutes out from 6 o'clock. So whatever it was an hour and 20 minutes ago is the time that we'll tune in to this on the first Tuesday. And for the love of all that's gardening, please, someone Instagram me or something when we get close to that day and be like, just so you don't forget, you promise this, because your girl's busy sometimes and so I forget. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys mean the world to me. And I will see you tomorrow in the comment section, and you'll get to see me cry ugly tears, crocodile level tears. So I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Talk to you later. Bye.